In Gaza's overcrowded hospitals, babies lie fragile and silent. Dozens have died in July alone. At least 63 malnutrition-related deaths recorded by WHO in just that month, with 24 children under 5 among them. Health workers describe infants so emaciated that some weighed less at death than at birth. Particularly harrowing are reports of breastfeeding mothers in such deteriorated health that they literally feed their own tissue extracted via rind-like supplements or sugar water, any nourishment to keep their babies alive. UN-supported clinics are treating over 5,000 children in July, of whom roughly 18% are in critical condition with severe acute malnutrition. Pregnant and nursing women face staggering rates of hunger, over 40% classified as severely malnourished. The World Health Organization has declared Gaza to be suffering from man-made mass starvation, attributing the crisis to restrictions on aid and widespread blockade policies. Officials warn that nearly 10% of people and 20% of pregnant women suffer from moderate to severe malnutrition. The World Food Programme and UN are calling urgently for scaling up aid. Nearly 470,000 people in Gaza face famine-like conditions, yet only 68 trucks per day enter, far short of the 100 per day needed. Nearly 147 hunger-related deaths, including 89 children, have occurred in recent weeks alone, according to Gaza's health ministry. To ease the crisis, Israel declared daily tactical pauses, typically from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., to allow aid trucks and airdrop missions by countries such as Jordan and the UAE. But Gazan survivors and aid agencies alike call these drops demeaning and dangerous. Crowds rushing airdrops have suffered injuries. Some aid parcels dropped onto tents have led to deaths. One resident declared, "We are not dogs that you throw aid at." Aid groups like Oxfam and MSF have condemned the drops as grotesque distractions, inefficient, risky, and symbolic rather than substantive. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu firmly denies that starvation exists, calling reports a bold-faced lie and deflecting responsibility by blaming Hamas for obstructing deliveries.
Israel is presented as though we are applying a campaign of starvation in Gaza. What a bold-faced lie. There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza.
He insists aid is flowing, asserting how Israel is permitting humanitarian access and rejecting allegations of targeting civilians with hunger tactics, though health and UN data tell a starkly different story.
We enable humanitarian aid throughout the duration of the war to enter Gaza, otherwise there would be no Gazans.
In contrast, US President Donald Trump, meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on July 28, explicitly acknowledged the crisis, stating the televised images of Gazan children made it clear that it was real starvation.
We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We have a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money on some food.
This direct contradiction marks a rare public divergence between Israeli leadership and its top US ally. Trump's administration is now pushing for more assertive aid strategies. It has increased pressure on Israel to expand humanitarian corridors and open crossings. Plans are underway for US-backed food centers and collaborative efforts with European allies to deliver non-militarized neutral aid distribution. However, ceasefire diplomacy remains stalled. The US just pulled its negotiating team from talks in Qatar, citing a lack of commitment from Hamas. While major powers weigh recognition of Palestinian statehood, humanitarian access remains blocked, and the conflict grinds on with civilians trapped in a cycle of starvation and violence. Compounding the tragedy is growing evidence of dehumanizing rhetoric and conduct. Reports have surfaced of Israeli media mocking Palestinian suffering on live broadcasts, reducing grief to spectacle. The documented mocking of Palestinian suffering on live broadcasts has sparked internal and international outrage, with many seeing such behavior as emblematic of growing impunity. Gaza's hunger crisis is no abstraction. It's a direct outcome of restricted aid and broken lifelines. UN data and medical testimony present a fact-based picture of avoidable death. Israeli and US leadership present sharply different narratives, one denying, the other acknowledging starvation and proposing remedial action. The White House is positioning itself as a humanitarian actor, pushing for strategic, dignified aid. The wider failure remains political, though, not just logistical. Without ceasefire or safe, sustained access, famine will deepen. Dispassionate reporting cannot underscore enough how urgent this crisis is and how deeply human the suffering. The world watches, but children have no more time.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.